Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Shane,
And I'm Erica.
and we're back for another deep dive.
Always a treat.
So today we're diving back into the world of Kecia's tour life. Remember Kecia?
Oh, yeah.
Her blog takes us on the road and gives us the coolest concert and festival experiences.
It's like a backstage pass.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
This time, she took us to the Indiana State Fair to see Bell Biv DeVoe.
BBD at a state fair. That's kind of an unusual combo.
I know, right? And what's so cool is she had just seen them perform with New Edition at the Cincinnati Music Festival like 2 weeks before.
Oh, wow. Talk about a venue contrast.
Right. And she noticed a difference, too. Like with New Edition, BBD was all polished and sharp in their suits, like the classic boy band we all know.
Great sense.
But at the fair, they brought a totally different energy.
More like that laid-back hip-hop vibe.
Exactly. Still high energy and super engaging,
Yeah.
but definitely more relaxed, almost improvisational.
Interesting.
Yeah, it really got me thinking, like, how do they adapt their style to fit such different environments?
Well, they seem to be masters at it, bringing that same energy and those signature moves, whether they're on a huge stage or at a state fair.
And Kecia really highlighted how they connected with the crowd at the fair. There was even a fun little surprise. The crowd gave Michael Bivins an early birthday shout-out.
Oh, wow. I bet that was a really memorable experience for both the band and the fans. You think it was planned, Like BBD consciously adapted their show for the state fair, or do you think it just kind of happened because of the setting?
It's a great question. Kecia didn't really go into detail about that, but it seems like they're so in tune with their audience, they just know how to create that connection wherever they are.
That says a lot about their experience and their talent as performers. Decades in the business, and they still make it feel fresh.
Totally. And you know what else is interesting? Kecia mentioned how they invited some people up on stage to dance. Some were clearly seasoned dancers, but others, well, let's just say their enthusiasm more than made up for any lack of skill.
That's hilarious. It sounds like such a fun and inclusive atmosphere. You wouldn't expect that from a band that's been around so long. You'd think they might be a little jaded, but it sounds like they're genuinely enjoying themselves.
Absolutely. And Kecia even pointed out that even though they're all in their 50s now, they're still moving with that same energy and hitting those iconic dance steps.
It really makes you rethink that whole idea of artists having a peak and then they just decline. Maybe it's about staying true to yourself while also evolving.
And isn't that a great message? It's like age doesn't have to dictate what you can or can't do.
Exactly. Keep that passion alive and you can connect with your audience no matter what stage of your career you're in.
It's amazing to think Kecia saw them in two completely different settings, and yet that core BBD magic shone through in both.
It's what keeps the fans coming back. That ability to adapt and evolve while staying true to who they are.
I wonder if she had a preference between the two shows, or if each one offered something unique and special.
That's a great question. Let's dive into the second part of Kecia's blog and see what else she has to say about BBD at the state fair, and if she gives us any insight into that. Reading Kecia's blog, it's like you can almost feel that energy of the crowd at the state fair. Makes me wonder if it brought back any memories for her or anyone who grew up listening to Bell Biv DeVoe.
You know, it's funny you should say that because I was thinking the same thing. Their music was such a huge part of the late 80s and early 90s.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if you were around then, you couldn't escape Poison. It was everywhere.
It really was. It was such a defining sound of that era, that whole new jack swing style, and BBD was right at the forefront.
Absolutely. And I think that's one reason why seeing them live, even today, can be such a powerful experience. It's like tapping into a collective memory.
Yeah.
You know, this shared cultural moment.
Right. And for Kecia, who saw them first with New Edition and then at the state fair, it's like she experienced both sides of that legacy, the polished, iconic group, and then the more relaxed, almost intimate vibe of the trio.
And it's interesting because Kecia points out that even though they're in their 50s now, they're still doing those iconic dance moves. Makes you wonder what drives them to keep performing at that level.
It's pretty inspiring, right? They could easily just coast on nostalgia, but they're still pushing themselves and giving their fans that full BBD experience.
Kecia talked about how their energy was infectious even at the fair. She said they're interacting with the crowd, joking around, just having a blast. It made me realize it's not just about the music, it's about that genuine connection with the audience.
It's about that joy of performing, and that passion just shines through. It reminds us that age is just a number, It doesn't have to limit your creativity or your ability to connect with people.
And I think Kecia highlights that in her blog. She doesn't come right out and say it, but you can sense her admiration for their longevity, for the fact that they're still out there doing what they love and doing it well.
It's almost like she's rediscovering them, seeing them through a new lens after experiencing both the New Edition show and the State Fair. I wonder if it changed her perspective on their music or their artistry at all.
That's a great question, and one we can explore further as we dig into the final part of Kecia's blog.
Yeah.
Maybe she gives us some insight into how these two very different concerts impacted her overall appreciation of BBD.
You know what really struck me about Keisha's whole experience? Seeing BBD at the Indiana State Fair, it's like this reminder that live music can really thrive anywhere.
It's so true. It's not always about the giant stadiums and arenas.
Mhm.
Sometimes those unexpected venues like a state fair create a whole different energy.
Yeah. Keisha even mentioned that maybe the State Fair setting let BBD be more playful and spontaneous with their show. Like the atmosphere itself encouraged that connection with the crowd.
That makes total sense. A
Yeah.
state fair has a totally different vibe than a super planned music festival.
Hmm.
It's more relaxed, more about just enjoying the moment, which probably leads to a more free-flowing performance. And I think that's what makes Kecia's blog so cool. She captures those experiences. She shows us that music is more than just the notes and lyrics. It's the energy, the setting, the shared experience.
Exactly. And here it seems like seeing BBD in these two totally different contexts gave her a new appreciation for how versatile they are as artists.
I wonder if it changed her expectations at all. Seeing them with New Edition, all polished and professional, and then at the state fair, where they could just let loose and have fun with the crowd.
It's really interesting to think about how those two performances might have shaped her whole view of BBD. Did it make her appreciate their individual talents more? Or maybe highlight how well they work together as a group no matter what?
It's definitely something to think about. And I think Keisha's blog encourages that kind of reflection. She's not just telling us about what she saw. She's inviting us to think about our own connection to music and how different environments can shape those experiences.
She's inspiring us to go deeper with music, to look beyond just what we hear and discover those hidden gems. And it doesn't have to be Bell Biv DeVoe. It could be any artist, any genre, any setting.
Exactly. It's like music is a journey, and sometimes the best discoveries happen when you step outside your comfort zone and try something new.
And if you're looking for some inspiration, Keisha's Tour Life is a fantastic place to start. You can find her blog at keisastourlife.com, and she's also on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, always sharing her adventures.
So go check out Keisha's Tour Life and let her take you into the world of music and travel. Who knows? Maybe she'll inspire you to discover a new favorite artist or see a familiar one in a whole new way. Thanks for joining us on another deep dive.